Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Gather around your radio sets. Get your children, get your coffee or a cup of tea, whatever you're ready for. I'm here to give. And the mediator. This is the show where I go through the top 8 stories that made us throughout the week. Stories that may interest you, stories that may be important, stories that may change your view of thinking. Let me read the disclaimer really fast. These are the top 8 stories. They are documented for records and to highlight topics for those in the business of talk radio, talk media, and those who just want to stay informed. Now, folks, like I said, let me get to the top 8 stories that made it to the media this week. Real quick, if you want to contribute in any way while I'm in the business of talking, or maybe after the show, you can go to METHOD, the number 8, INC.com. That's method8inc.com, and you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. You can also look at the past shows that we've done. You can see me act like a complete idiot on some of our skits, and you can also see me in action, or you can watch movies and other things that are on the site as well. And if you want to sponsor a program, you can also sponsor a program on the site as well. Like I say, there's just things that if you want to listen in, tune in. If the signal is a little weak and you want to tune in online or through the podcast, you can go to www.600wsom.com and you can listen live. And you can also go during the week. We put the shows up. Now let me get to the top 8 stories that made it into Mediator this week. Now, folks, remember, I'm not here to hurt anybody, only here to inform you. Story number 1, ladies and gents. Recalls and the auto industry. Yes, there's been a lot going on in the auto industry. If you do not know, if they are making them on the front lines, some of them are being recalled. If you do not know, GM has recalled 41,000 trucks. Nissan has also recalled 215,000 cars. It's always important because of people who are in the business of audio just in the auto business in general, they're concerned about the tariff wars that have been going on. So some of these cars are being, I guess they're going to the factories and they're finding out that there's some problems. I think the Nissan cars, they're concerned about them actually catching fire. The GM cars, they're just concerned about a brake pedal. Now, the reason why this story made it into the top 8 is, if you don't remember, a few years ago, I think it was even before the bailout, they had a big problem where I think some families were killed some people were actually killed during a recall. I think even my car, the car I'm driving right now, is in the recall. I have a Ford, and people are trying to figure out what's going on in the auto industry and what's happening. There are things going on in the auto industry right now that were not going on years ago. When the car was invented, I think it was probably one of the best inventions. If you don't remember, when it came out, people were so enthused with the fact that you can drive a vehicle. Then they invented the windshield wiper, and then they had traffic lights, so it was a big thing. But nowadays, people are just pushing out cars like babies. So these cars you got Volkswagen, who I think they went through the emission scandal a few hours ago. Now you have self-driving cars. So this just lets you know how the industry has changed for so long. So that's what got this story into the top 8. And Tesla, the big electric car company, they're even talking about now where they're trying to build a system underground in Illinois and in some states where the car can be transported underground and be taken to your place, like an airport or something. So and Tesla's been going through it. I think Elon Musk, I think he's actually under investigation for making some false claims geared towards taking the company private. If you don't know, there's just, the auto industry, when it comes to patents and they've when it comes to technology and the new ways of people driving, they're trying to push it to the limit. They've even got it now where we might someday pretty soon have flying cars. If you've seen drones, you can actually put humans inside of a drone and fly it around. So the car and the auto industry has made it into the top 8 this year. I don't know if this story may stay in the news. If we keep having self-driving wrecks and people keep getting in accidents, this story may stay in the news. Who knows? Now let's get to story number 2 really quick. If you want to contribute in any way, you can go to METHOD, the number 8, INC.com. That's method8inc.com. You can buy something, watch something, read something, or just click on something to show us some support. You can also sponsor a program. I am at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio. I'm in the business of theater, media, videos, movies, music, and even consulting, publishing consultants, business consultants, marketing consultants, event planners, photography, videography, modeling, web consultants, and performing arts. If you are just tuning in, this is The Mediator with me, Brian West, here to give you the top 8 stories that made it throughout the week. We are an independent arts company geared towards impacting community with the service of talents. So we can't do everything, can't do some types of art, but we try to do the best that we can. The nonprofit that made it this week, the Fairview Outreach Center. They will be playing Little Shop of Horrors. It will be directed by Emma Wasson, and that opens Friday, October 12th, and runs October 13th, 19th, 20th, 26th, and the 27th. This was sent to me by Joyce Jones. She's been a big theater activist for a long time. Tickets are also available at www.tophatproductions.org. That's 4220 Youngstown Poland Road in Youngstown, Ohio. If you want to go check them out, October 13th, 19th, 20th, 26th, and 27th, they will be showing Little Shop of Horrors. Now let's get to story number 2. After I give my shout out, story number 2. What's the real deal with the entertainment business? Folks, this story is deep. There's been some deep things going on in the entertainment world. I mean, real deep. You know, being in the entertainment business, I started out publishing books, and then I started making independent movies. I mean, low budget movies, and I see different types of people. And then you have a lot going on right now where you're talking about two worlds. Entertainers are starting to become political activists. They're starting to become, because they have to find something to do, especially when their career is totally going downhill. But this story, this entertainment business story, made it to number 2 because there are some things like you have this Stormy Daniels story that made it in, and then we had Kanye West and even Beyonce made it in some headlines during the week. But this Stormy Daniels story is interesting. You have a porn star who she had an intimate relationship with the president of the United States in 2006. This story will not seem to leave the news, and as long as it stays in the news, whenever you have somebody in power, and they just, for some odd reason, they become a target. I mean, this story will not leave. Stormy Daniels has claimed she's writing a tell-all book, and it is exposing some of it. And I really, all my heart goes out to Melania Trump, because if she really cares about her husband, I know these when things come out about no matter if you're a man or a woman, when something comes out about your significant other, and you feel like you're in love alone, that can be a very hard thing. But I hope this doesn't destroy the ordination of marriage. But this porn star is coming out, and she is whenever you see entertainers merge with this happened in, I think it was the Kennedy administration years ago with Marilyn Monroe, but this time and then you had but this is a prostitute. I guess she's a big time entertainer, and some people just want to know, why do people choose the book route? You know, why do they choose media entertainment, or why do they choose just whenever the TV in general, just to get their story out there? Why do they choose it? This story, like I said, there's been some scandalous things going on in the entertainment world, just in the media in general. But the history books tell you, even in religion, talks about the truth about things like this. I think you had Samson and Delilah. You had King David in his situation. So whenever people are in power, people and some of these people need to get fed. They get involved, and the next thing you know, they're digging up dirt. They become an enemy of the state. Some of them can't go back to their normal 9-to-5 jobs, so they have to survive. And even with Trump being in the entertainment business himself, he had Omarosa, and she got into some conflicts with him. So I don't see this story leaving, especially when it involves the highest office in the world. I know Trump he seems to really be a go-getter when it comes to trying to make some things happen, but this is really gonna tarnish his resume, especially when it comes to women's issues. You even have Kanye West making some headlines. I guess he was telling some other entertainers not to bring his wife up in interviews. If you do not know, Kanye West is married to Kim Kardashian. This story stays in there. And then there was even a headline about singer actor Beyonce. Her former drummer was requesting a restraining order. She stated that the singer practices extreme witchcraft and dark magic. Now, folks, if you do not know, there's been some videos that have been circulating on YouTube just about the whole entertainment industry in general. People engaging in rituals. They call them like spirit cooking. The entertainment business is a freaky world. I mean, you're talking about creative people. They get together and they have to entertain people. That's how they live. That's how they survive. So whenever you mix things like this and it gets into any other ball field, you can expect some type of chaos. I mean, it's just they have so many theories, so many ways of, I mean, psychological terms, but the fact is that the only way an entertainer can get paid is if they stay in the news, in the media. They have to surface. That's how they make money. They have to perform. They have to get shows. If they're not making hits, if they're not getting Grammys, then they're not making money. So but this story, I can probably, as long as Trump is in the White House, stories like this will stay alive. As long as entertainers are on this earth, you'll probably see stories like this in the news. This story made it to number 2. If it gets bumped up any more, then we probably may be seeing some serious shakeups in Washington. Not even just in Washington, but you even had I think they just had some award show where they had a guy talking about, I guess he made some jokes about Jesus and Republicans, and so that's just the entertainment world. He even blatantly said it that some people in the crowd have not got caught. So that just lets you know that it's a dirty ball game out there, folks. That's story number 2. Now, real quick, if you want to contribute in any way, you can go to METHOD, the number 8, INC.com. That's method8inc.com. You can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. The Independent Arts Company, how I pay the bills is I offer my services, my years of knowledge, my years of schooling, my years of mentoring. I try to offer to the community. We're in the business of theater, media, videos, videography, movies, music, publishing consultants, business consultants, marketing consultants, event planners, photography, videography, modeling, web consultants, and performing arts specialists. The nonprofit that made it in this week, I guess they are having they're starting their season with a Little Shop of Horrors, and that is at the Fairview Outreach Center. I think it's Top Hat, and they are at 4220 Youngstown Poland Road, Youngstown, Ohio. And they will open up on October 12th. They run, I guess they will run from the October 13th, 19th, 20th, 26th, and 27th. It is directed by Emma Wazin. I hope I'm pronouncing that. I think it's Wazin. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, forgive me. Joyce Jones, she gave me the article. They're starting their season. And again, if you want to contribute in any way, you can go to METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, and you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or read something, or just sponsor a program. Now let's get to story number 3. We're moving right along here in the mediation. Mediation is tough, but somebody's got to do it, folks. Is it fair to say that people are getting crazier? If you've been paying attention to the news, there's been some strange things occurring here on Earth. I think even locally, we had a guy who I think he killed his family. Some of these guys say they black out and they just start murdering people. There's even a report that surfaced about, I guess they say that 1 in 11 teens have vaped cannabis. And this is scary due to the effects that it can have on the brains. They say that most U.S. teens are getting drugged up, taking some type of illegal substance. And they say it's spreading like a wildfire. And if you want to destroy a country, you want to destroy a community, I can never repeat this enough, then you introduce drugs into that community. And then another story surfaced. A homeless man, he raped a 22-year-old golfer and left her remains on an Iowa golf course. If people are, I think people have been crazy throughout all of the years when it comes to killing other people. You know, a lot of people are against the Bible, and they got all these movements going on against religion and just, but in the scripture I do remember in the Bible it talks about Abraham and how the God of Abraham's people, you know, the God of anybody who worships or tries to do the right thing. It says that he took his son up to the mountain and he was about to sacrifice him, but he didn't do it, and that's what made him special. That's what made him unique. I guess people are taking lives out there, but it's in the Ten Commandments. I don't know what type of new day and age we live in, but whoever wrote the Bible, wherever it came from, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Egypt, they must have knew something that we did not know, because some of the scriptures are starting to come alive, even in the 20th century. So there's even a story about a Michigan Buffalo Wild Wings manager. I guess he's been fired for choking a drunk man in the restaurant. Another story surfaced about a husband who reportedly had his wife on a leash at a Pennsylvania fair, and when he yanked the leash, I guess she got choked up. He got in trouble, and I guess he stated that his wife had dementia and often wandered off, so he put her on a leash. I said, we're living in some amazing times. Another story surfaced about a man that was upset about his order, so he stormed into a Domino's pizza shop and placed an employee in the headlock because of his order. And that's story number 3. What is it fair to say that people are getting crazier? I do not know. I do not like to call people crazy, but something is in the atmosphere when it comes to people living normally and doing things. That's story number 3. Shaky, and Halloween is coming, so I guess what is it? Thriller. Bring out the freaks come out at night. Talk about the dog catcher, do the dog catcher. Oh my God, it's getting nasty during the Oktoberfest, during October in general. Like I said, if you want to contribute in any way, you can go to METHOD, the number 8, INC.com. The freaks and the folks come out at night when the sun go down, folks, because it's getting nasty here in the United States. People are doing some crazy things. If you want to contribute in any way, go to METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, Method8Inc.com, the independent arts company where we are in the business of theater, media, videos, movies, music, publishing consultants, business consultants, marketing consultants, event planners, photography, videography, modeling, web consultants, and performing arts. We're just a network, folks. We're just a network of people who just like to make residual income off what they enjoy doing. And we also have some other things going on in the community. They'll be playing Little Shop of Horrors. It's directed by Emma Watson, and it opens up in October, I think October 12th, and runs October 13th, 19th, 20th, 26th, and 27th. Tickets are available at www.tophatproductions.org. They are located at 4220 Youngstown Poland Road in Youngstown, Ohio. Now, let's get to story number 4 that made it into the media this week. I'm not here to hurt you, just show you some love and mediation. Staying in the middle, as usual, the mediator of democracy, the mediator of mankind. Here to the rescue. Rescue the rich, the poor, the middle class, and even those who consider themselves lost. Story number 4. What surveillance and the price of capitalism means in democracy. Now, this story made it and got into the half. It was at story number 4. If you do not know, folks, the United States promotes freedom, and you're allowed to vote. You're allowed to say what you want to say, do what you want to do, but it comes at a price. But if you did not know, China has its citizens on a surveillance credit point system. If they say anything against the government, they are penalized. A man escaped the this is what the big fight is about when it comes to both sides arguing right now, especially in this capitalism where you have the have and the have not. But people who live in the United States will tell you that democracy is not only a benefit, but it's a privilege that you have. But in other countries, they are not so lenient. There are things that happen. There are things that go on, and this man escaped China, and he says that the powers that be, communism, they are putting citizens on a system to where if they do anything wrong, they are penalized. They can't say anything against the government. So if you do not understand what's going on out there, there are people who are against this United States of America. Even though the United States has a credit rating system, some people say that even in this system that we live in right now, that it's not fair. Some people say that bad people get rewarded in this system and good people suffer. I'll explain to you. I've served. I've done my time. I tried to get a house, couldn't get it because my credit was bad. Because I had some bad instances that happened in my life. I'm not from a city that flourishes, that has a lot, and I give a lot of my time and my money to the betterment of the people. But that's just something I choose to do. So I'm less. So I see a lot of things happening, and I do understand why people are doing the things that they're doing. And it's just, I mean, in a country filled with bureaucracy and some people trying to maintain control, you have a lot of wealthy people who are pushing for some social paychecks for every citizen. You even have people who feel like they're maxed out on fresh ideas. And capitalism, I guess it's rough. You know, everybody's trying to make a buck. So and some people do it in unethical ways. And sometimes nature takes its course. Karma catches up to people and things happen. I can honestly say I've been dealt some very heavy blows in my lifetime, but I've never given up. I was listening to some music, and the songs that are made in this country, some people you can't. I mean, some of these songs people make are just so priceless. I mean, and it's all done in the hands of freedom. In some countries they can't do that, and you can even look at the fact that entrepreneurism in the United States, people are able to take their imagination, their thoughts, and make something out of it, make something out of nothing. And once that becomes a threat to the United States, then that this country will no longer exist. Once that idea of freedom and being able to get up, I'm not fortunate. I say I wish I had some things in my life, but I just have to wait in line. I mean, sometimes I do feel like snapping out and doing some crazy stuff, but I try to maintain self-control. But there's also some other things that popped up in the story about surveillance and social media and what it has done to the justice system. The justice system in this country is under attack, but I can guarantee you that it's under attack for a reason. When you have countries like China and Russia down at your throat, I mean, you got things like cybersecurity and identity theft in the news all the time. And Pentagon even listed China and Russia as the biggest threats because you have leaders in their country who like to control the narrative. They like to maintain control. I've never met these leaders before, but just by reading that story, that it bluntly says that if the journalist is lying, then forgive me, but it says that China has its citizens on a surveillance credit point system. That means that they are watching it's probably over 1.4 billion people or million people in China, somewhere around that. But this is what happens when you get dictators or people who want to control people. Do you know that Wall Street's pay is the highest it's ever been since 2008? And this is the problem that we have in a democracy and capitalism. But the good thing about this country is that the citizens have a voice, and we have every opportunity to change the circumstances. We have petitions. You can march, you can protest, and that's the benefits of living in the United States of America. But I guess there's also another story that surfaced in the capitalistic realms. If the money dries up, then you may start seeing some crazy stuff happening. It says investors are seeing nothing good coming out of the trade wars that could last for 20 years. So they're saying if these trade wars keep going on with China, there could be some problems, and a lot of economists are looking and watching the scales. If you are informed or uninformed, I think it may be time for you to get informed, especially if you have family and friends that you care about, because there are some things going on underneath the rug when it comes to people trying to maintain this system that we live in. Real quick, if you want to help us out in any way, if you want to go to METHOD, the number 8inc.com, that's method8inc.com, and you want to contribute in any way, you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or read something. We are the independent arts company, and the business of theater, media, videos, movies, music, publishing consultants, business consultants, marketing consultants, event planners, photography, videography, modeling, web consultants, and performing arts specialists. If you want to come see my smiling face, I am in the business at 5648 Market Street. I'm there from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. The nonprofit that made it in this week, Little Shop of Horrors, I guess Fairview Art Outreach Center in Straddles, Ohio, will be showing Little Shop of Horrors. It is directed by Emma Wazen. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, forgive me. It's either Wazen or Wazen. It's one or the other. But I guess it opens Friday, October 12th, and runs October 13th, 19th, 20th, 26th, and the 27th. The tickets are all available at www.tophatproductions.org. They're at 4220 Youngstown Poland Road, Youngstown, Ohio. And that's what's going on. If you want to contribute, like I said, you can go to the website method8inc.com, and you can sponsor a program, buy something, click on something, watch something, or read something. We are at the halfway point, folks, and I am breezing through. We are at story number 5. Story number 5 that made it to the media this week. The cry for a third party in Washington. You know, I walk down the street and I can go left or right. I can go to the right side and be a radical. I can go to the left side and have as much fun as I want and expect everything to go my way. But there are many voters and activists that feel that Washington needs less drama, more policies that gear towards reality. And there's some things going on in just in America right now where people are just not satisfied with politics. They're not happy. Some people feel deceived. A lot, even in different minority communities where you have lesser populations, like you have Latinos, African Americans, people who are not the majority. Some people do not feel like they've been given a fair shake. Some people have gone totally against the Democratic Party, but they do not want to live by Republican rules. There's a lot of racial strife that goes on in the United States, but people are just they're trying to get something evened out. If I were to create another party, it would I don't know what I think that you look at it from a different angle. The system is structured to where everybody can get something out of the deal. You have nonprofits, you can work, you can start your own business, you can play sports. You can do whatever you want to do. You can even voice your opinion about the media. I mean, you got guys like Alex Jones, Clyde Lewis. I mean, you have tons of people on the radio who voice their opinions every day about certain things. I mean, everybody's given a voice in democracy. But some people are just not happy with the political system. They say these guys have gotten wealthy off on the taxpayer buck, and they are not trickling the dollars back down into society. They say that they've been given some bad deals, especially when it comes to corruption. And this story probably will remain in the news because of the fact that you're talking about a system that's been put in place to. Some people feel that everything is a conspiracy. Some people feel that this system that we live in America is by design. There's still a lot of people who are just not satisfied with the way things are going. You look even at the housing crisis that took place years ago, even with the president that's in the White House right now. It's safe to say that Donald Trump is in a state of thinking that I think he has no way out. He's won the presidency. He has a chance to, but the guy gets on Twitter. People voice their opinions about him. They don't like him. A lot of people a lot of people just do not like this president. A lot of people do. So some people just want some type of an even ball field when it comes to political matters. Some people don't even want to be involved in politics at all. I'll get to that in a second. And then some just say, I guess the two-party system put in Washington has just put people in a state of wacky leftist people. Some people say that right-wing conservatives have become too militant. And some people believe that a lot of people in Washington are controlled by an elitist agenda. This story probably will stay in the news. I don't know how long it's going to stay, but anytime you're dealing with Washington and you're dealing with political matters, stories like these don't go away. There's been, I think they had the Tea Party a few years back that ruffled some people's feathers. They talked about people were, I mean, ruffled. Some people's feathers. It was a movement that took place. It kind of died down, but in a system where you got people who want to get jobs, want to work. You got people on drugs. You got people doing some, I mean, crazy things. I mean, this is probably, so I don't expect a story like this to go anyway anytime soon. So story number 5, the cry for a third party. If this story gains any steam, and I mean, just expect this story to stay. And especially if you still have people who are uninformed and people who are getting informed, just starting to get their legs fresh, starting to see what's going on. They're seeing the big picture, seeing what's at stake. Some people, like I said, they have terms. They call them liberals. So whenever you see a liberal agenda or the far right going at it, it says it in its name. Either you could be on the right or you can be on the left, and nobody really knows how this is going to turn out. But no matter what you do, no matter what you say, people, especially in a country that promotes freedom and democracy, there's going to be stories like this that surface all the time. But the simple fact remains that the choices you make in life, they add up to something. I've spent my life doing charity work. I've spent my life. I've made mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'm sure if I were a stingy, crazy, just selfish person, I'd probably be as wealthy as Attack right now. But that's a decision I've made, so I have to deal with it. I have to deal with the creditors, the bill collectors, get my credit report right. I have to wait to get the things I want sometimes. But that's just the type of life I live. I don't ask me. That's the way I'm designed. So in this country, when you get to this story like this, then you know we're at a point to where people are just fed up when they start talking about that Washington is just unfair. So that's story number 5. If you want to contribute in any way, you can go to METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, method8inc.com. You can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. Independent arts company. We're in the business of theater, media, videos, movies, music, publishing consultants, business consultants, marketing consultants, event planners, photography, videography, modeling, web consultants, and performing arts specialists. If you want to see some of our shows that we post, you can go there. Like I said, during the week, you can see the shows that we post. There's always something going on the website. You can also see my smiling face. If you want to contribute in any way, you can go to the website, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com. You're in the Mediator with me, Brian West, and you can go to the website, buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. Or you can just sponsor a program. In the business of media, let's get to story number 6. We are moving along in the Mediator today. Like I said, we're about to get into the deep stories, because it's about to get deep in here. Story number 6. This story is interesting because nobody knows what's going on. Are the big 3 world powers a ticking time bomb? As many people hate war and hate chaos, there is something going on the global scale. And as voters, we have to ask ourselves is, how did Russia get on the watch list? If you've been keeping an eye on the KGB, Russia, they've been doing some amazing things. Russia, the president, Vladimir Putin, he got in office by a majority vote. Some people say even meddled in his own election. So then we try to figure out what is really going on in Washington and who is protecting who. If you do not know, Russian bombers were flying over the UK and Alaska. I reported on that last week. This story got bumped up to number 6 because Russia has been making so many headlines. We went from headlines like the Middle East to now you see Vladimir Putin's smiling face popping up in almost every story. And these are, like I said, there's some other stories that surface that may give this story some more steam in the coming weeks. Even the fact that Russia and Turkey are agreeing to demilitarize a zone in Syria, I guess is the last rebel stronghold. So Russia has somehow put their foot in the global arena, and it's if Russia has a lot of land and they have a lot of resources in that country that have yet to been discovered, so by them all of a sudden just making it in the media, I mean, when you track the activities that have been going on in Washington, if you don't see some type of connection here, you have a story that made it in to talk about Trump declassifying the FISA documents in the I guess the FBI Russian probe. So as a foreign, I believe it's foreign intelligence surveillance. So there's some things going on in this mixture. Now let's even backtrack a little bit to where when Russia, when it comes to business relations, and some say that Trump got real cozy in the ordeal where he had a chance to talk about intelligence that proved that Russia interfered with the 2016 election. So this story is still blossoming. So even in all these investigations, with what's going on in Russia, this story probably will stay in the news. I mean, you've got things going on in Washington, and when you talk about the balance of powers, especially in a two-party system, each party is trying to dig up evidence and facts. They're trying to find out how to get in that seat of power. So they're throwing things, and I mean, even when you talk about the trade wars with China, this is a big issue due to claims of unethical trading practices by China and a looming U.S. debt that is a trade deficit of $336 trillion. So you can even throw North Korea in this mix. What is happening on the global platform? You've got folks. If you don't understand the reality of this story or what's happening, people are throwing bombs in civilian and blowing up civilians. Leaders shooting missiles at countries. There was an article. Nikki Haley stated that Russia has been like a virus because she feels that they've been cheating by helping North Korea evade international sanctions aimed at curbing Pyongyang's nuclear and ballistic missile program. So this story is far from over, and you wonder why there's bodies everywhere, folks. This is big stuff. If you don't understand, especially when you see a country sending bombs, a bomber flying over countries in near no-fly zones, flying over the U.S., something is happening. And for anybody who doesn't understand, or who've never served in any type of a combat zone or any type of a war, something is happening here. I pray that we're not on the verge of some big global war. Please don't. Let's try to prevent that. But when you've got somebody like Russia who is trying to, I mean, this story popped up to number 6, and it won't. Russia will not leave the headlines. This is worse than when the Taliban and Islamic terrorists were making headlines constantly in the early 2000s, or even when they hit the tower. This is because nobody knows what's going on. First you annex Ukraine, you get involved with Syria and Assad. You're on the verge of just almost trying to pimp everybody. You just I mean, this is different. This is different, but this story will continue to escalate, folks. Real quick, if you want to contribute in any way, you can go to METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, Method8Inc.com. You can buy something, watch something, click on something, or just read something if you want to show some support. They're in the independent arts company in the business of theater, media, videos, music, movies, publishing consultants, business consultants, marketing consultants, event planners, photography, videography, modeling, web consultants, and performing arts specialists. I hope Miss Joyce gave me the right name, but they have a play that they have going on. They're starting their season at Top Hat Productions, Fairview Outreach Center in Struthers, Ohio. They will be showing Little Shop of Horrors, and it's directed by Emma Wazen, I believe. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I hope she did not send me the wrong spelling, but but that's the name that she sent me. And they will be opening up on Friday, October 12th, and runs October 13th, 19th, 20th, 26 and 27. Emma, if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong, please forgive me. If you marry me, you'll have a simple last name like West, W-E-S-T. I'm in love with all the ladies. I try my best to please those. I just do my best to give my heart to everybody in need, and everybody needs love. Tickets are available at www.tophatproductions.org. And if you want to go, just check it out on the dates. They are located at 4220 Youngstown Poland Road in Struthers or Youngstown, Ohio. If you MapQuest it, it may say Struthers, it may say Youngstown, and they will be opening up October 12th, and then the Little Shop of Horror will run through October 13th, 19th, 20th, 26th, and 27th. Now let's get to the big two stories that made it into the Mediator this week. Ladies and gentlemen, story number 7. Why sexual misconduct won't go away anytime soon. If you haven't been keeping your eye on the news, everybody is talking about being touched, felt, groped, loved. I'm not going to get too rated R, but there is some freakiness. If somebody's advertising their body, somebody is going to take it. If a woman is doing something dirty, the men are just taking it, and then they're getting it on national TV and telling everybody. Numerous cases of men and women even having sex with minors making some of the stories. Folks, I'm going to tell you how this stuff happens, okay? You know what you want when you see it. And if the sugar is sweet, you're going to keep trying to get a taste of the candy. And if a man does not like a woman, then a man does not feel like he's a man. And if a woman does not like a man, she feels like she's not a woman. People want to make love. They want to do the nasty do, folks. And then once it's done, they want to talk about it and have regrets. They want to ask for forgiveness, and they want to pray to God for help. Folks, this is what's happening. I always tell women, if you have a daughter and she has some type of a curves, I even tell this to the ladies. If you see some man you like, and if they get left alone, there's a 90% chance that there's some freaky stuff that's going to go on. But this story, even if you don't want to avoid your daughters from being molested, folks, I have to control a beast every night. Every man has to control the beast. I'm just being real. I'm being honest. That's what mediation is about. Staying in the middle. But folks, every man has a beast and every girl has a beast. And that beast will talk to you, wake you up in the middle of the night, tell you to do some things you never thought you'd do. If you don't believe me, ask Crosby, folks. It's nastiness going on in America. Naughty America. Even you can talk to Stormy, you can talk to Ben Roethlisberger, talk to these brothers, even these big time NFL shots. They will tell you after the game, there's some women waiting to be blessed. Waiting to be blessed. Shake up in Washington. Brett Kavanaugh. And I think it was, Clarence Thomas got into it a while back too. Folks, there's some things going on, and it is getting scandalous as the days go by. They talking about everybody voicing it in the Me Too movement. Me Too movement. People want to, you can have intellect, folks, but hormones will always be there. Once that thought is in your mind, we've all been young. We're all getting old. And when those hormones are raging, folks, there's some things that come out. And then next thing you know, gravity and it's getting hot. It gets hot. And people like, what did Whitney Houston say? Oh, I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. Folks, that's what it is. If you can't hear me clearly, you can go to www.600wsom.com, and you can tune in if you want to hear the show later on in the week. You can talk to me then. You can hear me talking through the airways. But like I said, story number 7, I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. Why sexual misconduct won't go away? It's because people want to get nasty. They don't want it to be a law. I can go back to the biblical reference then. They said when Moses went up to the mountain, the new Hebrews, they was getting loose, getting nasty. They started building golden calves. Women was getting naked. That's what it is about, folks. That's what people want to do. There's some chance you leave a man and a woman alone. Even big folks, big body folks, they need love too. Skinny folks, big folks, slim folks, people just want to get nasty. But when it's time to get down to business, that's what we're trying to do in the United States of America. It's been nasty for too long. And veterans, I'm a veteran, so anybody out there want to donate some time to me, you can come to www.methodnumber8.inc.com. So that's methodnumber8inc.com, and you can sponsor us with a little bit of love. You can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. We're in the business of theater, media, videos, movies, music, publishing consultants, business consultants, marketing consultants, event planners, photography, videography, modeling, web consulting, and we are performing arts specialists. I'm there from 10 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday at 5648 Market Street. There is a show going on October 12th. They are having Little Shop of Horror. It's directed by Emma Wazin. And she, I guess, is running from October 13th, 19th, 20th, 26th, and 27th. If I'm pronouncing your name wrong, please forgive me, Emma. Miss Joyce sent me the text message. If you have any events going on or you want to check out the stories that made it throughout the week, you can go to the website, METHOD number 8. inc.com, and you can see the stories that almost made it into the top 8. You can also comment on stories, add your own little spiel to the stories. You can do whatever you want on the website, buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. Tickets will be available for the show Little Shop of Horrors at www.tophatproductions.org. They are located at 4220 Youngstown Poland Road in Youngstown, Ohio. Now it's time to get to story number 8. Lucky number 8, ball number 8. Is the voting system fair and secure? This story bumped up to number 8 as we are approaching midterms. Now, although some Americans feel that foreign entities will affect the upcoming election, I guess they just want to know if Russia is going to do anything to try to mislead people. Do you know that there are claims that Russia was posing as Americans to spread false and misleading information on social media? They are saying that people hacked into the elections and stirred some things up. They're even talking about that they were hacking into campaigns and political party servers to release negative shifting emails, or also targeting voting infrastructure like registration databases and everything. There's little proof that this actually happened, but some people are saying it's obvious that something went down. I mean, when you look at what does Putin want to achieve and what's his objective? I mean, when you have there's some things going on in Washington right now, folks. I mean, and when you start interfering with people's votes, that lets you know that you have a big time agenda. Some feel that the voting system just doesn't work for everybody. Some people don't. I was reading some stories about some people saying that they refuse to vote because they don't think their vote counts. It was on there's been some stories surfacing about that. And then some people are concerned about uninformed and illegal immigrants affecting the important election results. I think there was even some stories that surfaced about Republicans trying to take stands against people who are not registered, people who just don't even contribute to the system. Even if you look at the rap sheet of politicians, some people, there's even been some stories about even Obama and how he got in office, how he riled up the vote, how he was getting people who never voted before to register. So this is a game that politicians are playing to get in office. And I think there's an old saying that they tell politicians is just get elected. And I guess that saying just basically tells them that once they get elected, that's all they have to do. And these people need a job. It's no different from anything else in this country. When you're hungry and you got kids, you got family members that need to be fed, and you got businesses and you got taxes, you got some type of, and you start looking at what power can do for your situation with that being in some type of high office. I mean, you look at where I'm from right now, Youngstown. I mean, they've got scandals all over the place, corruption all over the place, and people in powerful positions, and when they get caught, it's just it really affects everybody. It changes things. People who are afraid of just the power of what something bad. I'm no perfect being. I said I've done some things in my life myself. But I try. I know I've had a lot of neglect in my life, but I've had to get up, rub myself off, but there's some things going on in this country right now, folks. I mean, things that are changing. I mean, you got people who are, fighting for all different types of things. People want a voice in this system. They want equality. You got entertainers, athletes joining the big polls. So I do not expect story number 8 to leave the news when it comes to voting. You look at how the system was structured. You had once upon a time, minorities and even African Americans were in the Constitution were considered a certain percentage of a human being. That's deep. That's deep, folks. And then then African Americans were freed, and they were left with most of them were left with nothing. I was even reading a story about Kathy. I think Kathy was a Buffalo. She was a first female Buffalo Soldier. She had dressed up like a man just to get a job. She was freed from slavery. She didn't know what she was going to do. She couldn't even get benefits. So we're at a different time frame. I mean, a lot of veterans are saying they don't feel like they're treated equally or treated fair in a system that promotes freedom. And some people, all I know is that a lot of people who have been losing are starting to feel like they have to be heard. So anytime that happens in the United States, I see story number 8 staying in the news, especially in democracy when people want to be heard and they want their vote to count. Stories that made it locally. The main library, I guess, renovation caps for they've had 4 years of growth since renovation has started. I guess it started years ago. Another local story that made it. People are showing concern, like I said, about the local elections. They had some zip code glitches, and those are the top stories that made it into the media this week. There's a lot going on in the world right now. A lot of things happening, especially in the news. My advice to anybody right now would be to just try to stay content with your life and try to find some peace. Try to find some way to keep yourself occupied, keep your children occupied. We got the holidays coming, a lot going on. As my life, as I continue to do more shows, I'll try to find some goodness in the stories. I'll try to find some type of even resolve. But as of right now, we're seeing things happening. I mean, you'll hear things happen in the media. You'll see some crazy things. I was dealing with some kids. And the way that people think now is so different, so different. I'm only 36 years old, but I just remember back in the day that there were times where kids were not even allowed to speak amongst adults, weren't even allowed to say certain things. The music has changed so much. I mean, now you can see what they're talking about. Back in the day, it was modest. It was modesty. It was everything was so, there was mystery. You court a girl before you can go out and do anything with her now. And that's what people, when you talk about taking a country back to, people talking about making a country great again, it's not that that the United States has lost greatness. It's just that we've lowered our standards in so many ways. We've lowered our standards, and that's what people are talking about. And I don't see any of these stories that we talked about today. I've talked about going away in the news, but when you lower your standards as a nation, you can see, even as a person, you talk about women who give up their virginity. Once you lower your standards, my advice is just be prepared, because there's some things that may be thrown at you that you did not see coming, and there may be some things happening inside of just the atmosphere. Like I said, that's just reality, folks. And right now, we're seeing it. We're seeing years of corruption, years of things being swept under the rug, and we're at the point where we're almost reaching an equilibrium where everybody is starting to realize that they have a voice in this system, and everybody wants to be heard. Everybody has something to say. Everybody has some type of voice, and this is when it says in order to create a perfect union. Right now, we are there. Well, folks, like I said, I want to thank you for tuning into the Meteor this week with me, your host, Brian West, and I wish you the best. I'll see you next week as we'll go again through the top 8 stories. Thank you for tuning into the Meteor this week with me, your host, Brian West. I wish you best and happy, fun-filled week. Let me mix this up a little bit in honor. Hold on, let me see if I can scratch this a little bit. Scratch this back. I don't got my scratching on. I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. See if I can mix this music up. They got me on the board today. Hold on, let me see if I can add a little bit of hip hop flavor to it. Just and for the old, when the hip hop music was great, I can't mix it, but I'll just do a chirp. Thank you for tuning to the Meteor. It's me, Brian West. Have a good week, everybody. I'm out, folks. I'm out. Show some love. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you for tuning to the Meteor. Thank you for tuning to the Meteor this week with me, Brian West. Have a good week, everybody.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The mediator is